So, hello, network. This is our first show. And it is a show I wanted to do as the first one because it covers a topic which is critical for most of us. We are going to talk financial liberties, financial independence, summed up as financial literacy. Financial literacy is important for adults, it's important for young people. It is the difference between those who become financially successful and those who don't. Some people just get one break and they know how to maximize it and they go. Some people get repeated opportunities and they still can't do anything with it. The difference is how financially literate you are. So I'm going to be talking this topic with Kwabena Obeng Darko, but I'm going to let Kwabena introduce himself to you, tell you about his books, tell you about the places he's been, about his credentials as an entrepreneur, and maybe it will help some of you understand the perspectives we are going to draw from for today's conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is Kwabena Obeng Darko on the Manson show. Kwabena, good evening.
Good evening, Amma. Good evening.
Good to
Ghana. Thank you
away,
for
most
the
of
opportunity.
yeah,
couple of
yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Yes. So my name is Obeng Darko. I'm a Ghanaian. I'm an entrepreneur. I train as an engineer. I'm an author as well. So, and I share a lot of information on social media, YouTube, and Facebook as well. And I'm a regular radio person with my friend Udia in Kano on Peace FM, and we share about some of the things that we want to talk about today. So, that's it. I have 3 books. One of them is
yes. Now tell us about that book.
Yes, this is Perspective. Is I wrote it in 2016. It's how to develop the mindset to start and build your own business. There is Streamline, how to teach yourself money, and we will talk about finance today. And this is Resilience, which is developing courage and strength as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not something that you have to be tough. You have to be built for it. And some of the thoughts that we have picked over the years, we put them in book. So, but that's it.
Perspectives. When you gave perspectives to my son, he was about 14.
Yes.
He was about 14. And I remember we were oohing and eyeing about whether he would understand the book adequately, but the timing was just bang. That book and a lot of things have really tilted the boy's thinking towards what I was thinking. So I always said to him that I was raising him to be an entrepreneur. But he was still going through school, and all his teachers talked about was getting a good job, getting skills so that he can work in a good, highly skilled place. And I kept telling him that I don't want him in any highly skilled job, even if he is highly skilled. I want him to bring his skills into entrepreneurship. It took reading your book to finally understand what it is that I had been trying to talk to the boy for years. And I think you have redeemed a mindset. You've made my life so much simpler after reading. But let's talk about the book. For those who've not read it, what's the book about?
It's about the journey that we had to go through. I schooled, first degree engineering, second degree engineering. Going through school, there was not much taught as an African in terms of our identity, our history, our heritage. And even if you mention a lot of the people who, postulated, they will mention all these European names. I never heard of my grandfather or my grandmother's name in any of those, And then when you come out of school, they want you to come and innovate. And I think it's a jacket on us as because the way you educate the Chinese should be different from the way you educate the European. And the way the Arabs should educate their people, they have to be proud of their heritage. And not just the culture, not just the drumming and dancing, but in science and technology, in business, innovation, in production, in organization, in structures, in thinking. And so if you really look at the kind of education that we've been put through, the start of it, if you study history, you see that the so-called education we have is mainly religious kind of, they started teaching us the Bible and those things, and then now where it is. So it was not really designed to bring the people to develop themselves and to develop their country and to develop their own civilization. So, and I dare say that it's not that much change. So when you push all of us through this kind of education in our country, once you come out, the brightest purely is not, mainly is not just they are bright, but people with good memory. It's not that we can solve problems that much, but they can define matter for me. You're able to define it. Therefore, you're a bright student. I think that is a major problem. So when I went through that, finish, if your father is not a president or a minister of state or some big man, you have to find a job. And trying to find a job, But then I started to read a lot about management, about life, about entrepreneurship. And I remember when in second year in university, I did internship. And when I saw the senior engineers, I was not happy. That's the fact. So I wanted to be independent. And my grandfather, my grandparents, especially from my mother's side, they were business people. My grandmother is from Kwabena, and she was purely a businesswoman. She was selling. My mother, the same. She was a nurse, all right, but she was selling jewelry. So I grew up with that kind of thinking. So when I completed school with the books that I read outside school, I felt that I didn't have to fight for any job. I just had to do whatever I had to do. And I saw that there was I had any problem with trying to do anything for living, in spite of the so-called education, And so the mental processes that I had to shift, I had to go through, to say that this is an idea. How do I build this idea into a business without worrying yourself? Because these are the options. You either stay in Ghana or you travel. And if you don't travel, you get a government job. And if you don't get a government job, maybe you join unemployed graduates association. So maybe you start a church or something like that. So, or you can sing or you can play football. So those are some of the things that we had to go through. So in perspective, I talk about that, the identity as an African. And I think that it gives you courage. Because without identity, without you being proud as an African, it's so difficult for you to be stable and focus and be proud and express a lot of positivity. Because when you start to go to say you want to build a company, listen, if your friends are in government positions, if your friends are with MTN and all these companies, and you say you want to sell, let's say, Kenke, listen, your mother will not even be happy with you.
Because I want to work in this area. So Marie, his wife, is a very good friend of mine. We've been friends for years. When these guys started the particular shop line, when you started the mother care, and a friend of ours, somebody we went to school with, was like, "Oh, have you heard Marie has started selling Pampers?" I'm like, "It's a mother care shop. I'm sure it has a lot of other things apart from Pampers. How can a graduate come and do such a thing? Seriously." You know what is terrible? I'm like, no, she had a good job in the bank and she left it. Returned to Ghana just to start a Pampers shop. What is this? So what was the going to school if you were only coming to sell Pampers? But this very person and I have had a conversation recently. So this is almost 20 years ago. Yes. Almost. It's been a long, long time. Years later, this comes back full circle, went to Ghana and went into one particular mall and saw two of the shops. And she's like, "Oh my God, she has two shops in the same mall." And I'm like, I think maybe even more in some of the malls. Maybe you are not aware. "Oh my God, we have wasted our time." And I'm like, finally, we've got there. Yes. We have wasted our time working for other people, and those who were smart, those who were brave, those who understood and were adequately positioned at the time to buck the trend, to stop pleasing people, to stop fitting in with other people, are the ones who are miles ahead. And the rest of us are still here dreaming of starting something. So let's go through the practical experiences. So this is what I'm sharing with you. But I'm very sure, Kwabena, in your own private moments too, you would have encountered many friends who would have either told you these things or said it behind your back or even given you attitude on this basis. Yes or no?
Well, one of my, good relation said that with all this education, you said you want to do business.
Yeah.
Why are you not using the education? I said, but the business we are doing, you think we are using what? You think if you are writing in an exercise book about your accounts or training your workers or ordering something, is that not school?
No.
But I can understand what your friend said, because the education we have was designed to work for government. And initially, I mean, it was to work in the British government.
Yes.
So the British government is no more. When you go to school, you must have a big government position. It was that. It was not designed for you to come and build a business or create a business or a job for yourself. It was not, and it's still not changed. And so your friend was just expressing something that subconsciously been given to her. And so, if you look at those who built companies, they're not different from us, but it's something that they know. All globally, if you see the people who build major companies, they are white. And there is a reason to that.
Even because most of us are actually designed for working. Most of us are worker bees. We were trained to work. We were not trained to manage anything, to lead anything. We were not trained to think. We were just trained adequately to speak, to read, to write, but not to actually develop your mind, because when your mind is developed, at the moment, I am struggling to stay in employment. I can't. Every time I was telling people going back to work this year is the hardest thing I'm going to do, because my brain doesn't want to do it.
That's right.
Obviously, for me, time skills and other reasons why I can't do it yet. But my brain hates the prospect of going to work for somebody. And when you become mentally advanced, you become insubordinate. You can't work for people. You are actually quite difficult for people to manage. You don't subject yourself to things because you question everything. And that kind of thinking is not good for employment. And so we were not trained to have that kind of thinking, because the bosses did not want to have problems managing us. Isn't that a problem?
Absolutely. That's it. So you were taught not to think, not to ask questions. Because the moment you start to ask questions, then you have a developed mind. You are looking for answers. If you're told to just follow instructions and be paid, and which we, at the moment, that's what we have. But for our country, for our continent to develop, we must look at the education again. And so if perspective, that's what I put in it. So I talk about a young man who was a barber, who was so much infatuated with going abroad, which most of us, that's what we were told. And so, but he was a barber, and I was there, and we had a conversation. He said, the time I travel and I go somewhere, I'll be very much successful. I said, but you can also look at, if you develop your skill set and start a barbering shop and maybe look at multiple locations, you never know what that kind of business will become. He didn't, but that's it. How do you move from that kind of thinking that I want to go to America to become successful, like almost all of us? If you put American visa there, if you put English, England visa there or something, all of us will move. And the generation we have, that's how it is. But you see, the battle is fought in the mind. The rare battlefield is the mind. So once you overcome mentally, you overcome. If you win mentally, you have won. So a man is nothing but his mind. So that's what I put in perspective. Actually, it's a book, and it will diffuse a lot of things. And many people have read it. So many people have read it, and it changes. I've never thought of it that way. So yes, because it's
more people need to read the book. Like I said, it was a story for me. It was a book my son read. And when he read the book, he came and he started asking me, so is that why you've been saying these things? Is that why you're doing these things? Those of you who watch me, I'm trying to leave my job. I'm trying to leave my job. And every time I say that to people are like, why? But it's a good career. Yes, it's a good career, but it's a limiting thing right now. I could have done so much more. I could do so much more if I was not restricted by a career. But this thing tells you that you need the security of a career. And in finding security, you also find restrictions, don't you, Kwabena?
Yes. The more secure you are, the more controlled you are. I mean, the greatest guys are, they put them in jail, they're secure. but then you don't have freedom to go to where you want to go. So that's about perspective. And I think that we need to get a lot of our people who have been sent through school to go into business, whether it's selling, production, farming, banking, construction, real estate development, social media, YouTube, IT, everywhere.
So you've gone there. So let's go there. You've named social media and YouTube. So let's come there.
Kwabena, yes, so those are businesses.
A businessman. You run many businesses, legitimate businesses, but you also think social media and YouTube is a business. Please explain.
Yeah, it's a business. I mean, the internet, just as they saw the earth as, with minerals and everything, the internet is a gold mine.
Okay.
A lot of young people now have found themselves just by picking camera and focusing on something. And with the viewership that they are getting now, it's a business. They get revenue. They have become bold, become confident. They are hopeful. They are changing narratives. They are bringing value. So that's the whole business. Don't say that I've finished school.
Go down. Don't go too fast. I want you to take it slowly. I am trying to pick a point for a particular person. So this is a guy who owns a chain of businesses with his wife. They have a family chain of businesses. I will give you some of the names and you can go look them up if you want. However, this is also a guy who also knows and understands the value of social media and how it changes the game talk about this YouTube, because most people in Ghana can only do YouTube. Why is YouTube business? Explain slowly, please, not fast.
Okay.
Slowly.
So when they created YouTube, for instance, Ghana, it was GBC. When I was growing up, it was GBC. And if you had to put something there, you had to, go to the office, pay a lot of money before they will even do advert for you. With the internet or with YouTube, there are a lot of young ladies, young men we know in Ghana now who have not paid any traditional media any money, just their phone with a channel. They are known all over. Even if they put anything of you, I mean, anything, any content from you on GTV, it's maybe just in Ghana. If they want to go global, it will have to be social media as well. So it's a game changer. It's cheap, it's easy, it's accessible to anybody, it's on demand. It's on demand. And now people are monetizing, even not from YouTube. Once you have your followership, people can just call you and say, let me put something on you and pay you. And it's also personal journey, personal development for almost everybody. So it's magic. It's magic. And it's changing the narratives. I watch so many teachers on various topics that I would not have had access to had it not been YouTube. Whether it's history, whether it's business, whether it's money, whether it's marriage, whether it's technology. People, because every one of us has something. Every one of us is an expert at something. And people need what you have. People need whatever that you know. People need it. And YouTube creates that opportunity for all of us. So it's a business, and people are making a lot of money out of it. And I don't think you should say that. No, I'm busy. You're busy doing what? And you see, we ended up on Peace FM. The way it happened, I started doing live videos on Facebook, I think 2017.
Yep.
And one guy was following me. I didn't know. So we happened to meet him somewhere. I gave a copy of Perspective. Then I was there one time. It called that Odia Henka wants to meet you. He has some concept that he wants us to discuss. I met him. I gave him the book, and that was it. People have called me to speak in their schools, in their churches, in their conferences, just because they saw me talk on YouTube or on Facebook. And more importantly, people say almost every day, hundreds of messages on WhatsApp, emails, Facebook, saying, I watch one video. Because the way you change the narratives is to change the mindset of the people. And we have no better time than this. A lot of narratives are changing, even on Africa. 20 years ago, if you see anything on Ghana, it will be maybe BBC or CNN,
No, it was water age.
They had to.
It was water age. There was children who were drinking the urine of cows whilst the cows drank the water. And they told you this is Africa. And
Yes.
people still have perspective. I mean, yeah. But now I can show you.
People just pick their camera and go through Sunya and go through Takoradi, go through Tamale, go to Accra, and they see, is this Ghana? Yes. And people have come to Ghana more through YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, than through the traditional media. You know, over the last 3-4 years.
Absolutely. I've done more for Ghana tourism than any TV station has done for a bit, just because I
with your channel.
Ghana. Just with my channel. And the kind of conversations I've had with people, oh my God, I didn't know Africa was like this. Yeah, people like me in our reality with no filters, just showing places, have actually broadened the horizon of so many people that no television station would have reached. Absolutely. Some people the videos by accident, and it's a game changer, this social media, Kwabena, isn't it?
Yes.
For everybody, people, individuals, nations, continents, it is a game changer, full stop. But let's come to this financial independence a little bit. I've put the links up. Those who want to join and learn how to set up your YouTube accounts, I have a YouTube masterclass that's running in September. Sign up. I'll run you through how to set up the account. I'll take you through how to do your Google AdSense and the rest of it so you can monetize. Facebook is also running simultaneously. So if you live in a place where YouTube is the only option, join the YouTube class. If you live in a place where Facebook is available for monetization, I prefer the Facebook algorithm and how it works with us. But you can also do YouTube if you want. Both of the links are on for you to check. You see, it's a fantastic discussion that Kwabena and I and a few of us have had privately for a long time. But I think it's important that some of these conversations come in the mainframe so that more people will be privy. And the people I actually want you to tag to watch this video is your kids. I want your children to see this. Let your children see this, because I have come full circle. I have built a career and I have come to Kwabena's way of thinking now. I've realized they won't help me. 20 years of a solid career has done nothing but maintain me on a financial leash. You just have about enough to keep body and soul together. But the liberties and freedoms you really need financially are never delivered from employment. Those things come from self-employment and entrepreneurship. Let's go there, Kwabena. Why is this?
It's everything. They say that there are two problems in this world. There is money problem and all the other problems. And if you're able to solve the money problems, you're likely to solve about 99% of the other problems. You know,
please repeat
if your child is sick, you go to hospital, is money. Ghana's economy is because of what? It's money. If the economy of the family is weak, a lot of other things will happen. I mean, if you don't have money, there's a chance that you will die, you know, faster than you should have died. Because then you live in a place where there is a lot of stress, bad road, no water, you know, bad ventilation, all those. So money, the good book says, answers everything. And don't challenge it. It's true. So I would teach my son to build wealth than to become the first in the class. First in the class is for the certificate is good, but it does not change life. That's why I'm sorry to say it, but that's why you see a lot of educated people go on strike for salary increment, even though they went to the best of schools. You need to teach not for the salary, but for the passion, for the worth of it, for the lives that you're changing. If they will not pay you and you will not do that work, it means you have not done well with your finances. And you have believed that it was not good. I think that profession is sacrificial, whether you're a doctor or lawyer, you know, a politician, whatever it is. The money should be separated from the profession. The money should be separated from the profession. And you must start early. Maybe 10 years we have to start to teach them, because two kinds of education. There is the school kind of education and there is the financial kind of education. And the greatest on this earth, they teach their children the money, because the one who has the money controls the rest of the people. You know, so never undervalue or underrate the power of financial education, because you can't change your finances until you have proper financial education. And they say that the kind of education that they have given us, they have programmed us, all of us, to just work for salary and to struggle all our lives. And per chance, if you get to 60, 65, they give, some organization will be giving us some pension, something. I don't think that you should give that part of your life to any organization to do that for you. You must be responsible for your money, for your future, for everything. Even when you start to go anywhere, it's because of the money. Majority of Ghanaians moved, not because Ghana is not good, but because they wanted money. And a lot of them stayed there because they still want money. But you cannot change the money until you are properly educated financially. And you can't run any, even successful family, you can't run a successful family, or you can't run a successful company, or you can't run a successful family, country, if your financial education is not that solid. So it's of utmost importance that you really educate yourself financially. And I dare say that just as you started school, once you started, they taught you this is 1, 2, A, B, C. The same thing with financial education. You must, when you buy graphic, you should not be looking at just the obituary and the sports and what Akufo-Addo did or what Akufo-Addo did not do. You look for the finance. So educate yourself financially. And majority of us will say that, oh, God will give me money. God will make me rich. Africans, we have that kind of problem. When the government is good, my finances will change. Those are some of the things that you have to rethink. People who get money have good financial education, and they have a lot of the myths that they have really broken down. So you have to decide that I want to solve this money problem. It is critical. You cannot send your children to great school if you don't have money. Even if you want to help people, you can't say that, oh, somebody should come and support me. The fuel to the vision that you have is money. And all of us can have it. We can do something wherever we are. So desire that I want to be financially free and have a plan for the next 10 years. I want to have 10,000 invested. I want to have 20,000 investors. I want to have 1 million. What is wrong? Why is it wrong for a teacher to become a millionaire? Is it wrong? No. You just have to know a particular path to follow. And once you have that understanding, it's doable. The other thing that we all have to understand is that the structure of our economy is a bit different from the structure of the West, especially. The way we run things in Ghana, because for instance, how many Ghanaians have access to credit card or have access to mortgage? So if you're operating an economy where most of the people don't have access to credit card, which means that they complete school mainly by paying. Your house you have is likely that you use your money. The car, everything is cash. So we must understand how things run here. Then we can take advantage. And there are enormous opportunities in each systems. Some systems or some financial infrastructure somewhere is built on debt. And there is another one that is built on cash. You must know, because my grandfather, who did not go to school, when he was about 30 years dying, he had tipper track. I was a boy, under 10, and he stored a lot of sand on the land, and he started to sell them to people as a security. He had his own cocoa farm. He had his wife's. He built his own house without mortgage. I heard a story of a man who was very successful. He built a lot of houses. When he was about 80 years and he was sick, he was still building houses because his cocoa farm was bringing in the money. These people did not know how to read or write. Now we have a lot of our colleagues, 2-bedroom, self-contained you're using mortgage because there's something that our grandparents knew that we don't know. And we must look at our structure, must look at our system and carve out financial a model or wealth model or a system or a structure that will make us to get to a stage where you don't need the salary to take care of yourself and your family. And all of us can do it. But the thing is that when most of us get money, we start to work, we take the salary and we buy nice wedding ring like Ames one, or you buy a nice car, or you build a very nice house. Instead of us to start to say that I want to build wealth, then out of the wealth, I start to buy the house, buy the car, have nice wedding, things like that. We start.
Pause again. I've told you this before. I went to Ghana once, and a friend of ours, again, different person, not the same. Kwabena gave me a car, and I was riding the car. So I went to see this person and he says, oh, where's this car from? I'm like, oh, Kwabena and Marie gave me the car, so I'm enjoying it. These guys, I don't even understand them. I'm like, why? All the money they make, this is the car they buy. I'm like, what? Are you okay? This is one of the cars they use for business that they can actually spare to give me to drive because I don't have a car. And you have a problem with a car somebody has given. Yeah, but all these. Listen, at that time, the person says to me, they haven't even finished building their house yet. And they've got this and they've got that. I'm like, maybe you and I should actually go and learn from these guys because they are building wealth, regeneratable wealth that will be used to buy cars like that when he is ready. It will build houses like that when they are ready. You know why you and I are broke is because of our mentality towards money. And you see, again, this trip, this very person called me. And the person says, the kokons I came to do and the bashing you gave me as a report. And I'm like, yeah. After that, I sold my car. That thing you said to me made me sell my car. I sold my car. Yeah, sold their car. Remember, they were coming to laugh about your car. But this person sold their car after the conversation because they realized it was stupid to own the kind of car that she owned at the time and was bragging about and did not have anything sustainable. And now the person has a business going. It's doing really well. I am so glad I gossiped. And I'm so glad the way you did because it affected a lot of things in my life. But you see, it is here, isn't it?
That's right.
How you spend the money. Go on. Tell us some more. Why are we
so you see, you need a lot of discipline. You must desire to be wealthy. You must desire to be rich. And then you must have the right financial information, financial skill set, and you must have the discipline. The fact that you have money does not mean you should waste it. So when your friend, whatever you were saying, it was true. We were actually using one car and you were renting in a normal place, but we were paying thousands for rent for the business. And for, we had hundreds of workers, but we're still living very, conservatively. Why? Because we needed things to be at a certain stage, then we could take from it, So really did not care what people thought, maybe, we didn't care because we needed to be at a particular stage. And it was something that we had to build from the scratch. And so there's a certain state of thinking that you must have. And there's a worldview or outlook that you must have for you to withstand this. And it calls for discipline. So the fact that the money is there does not mean that you should spend it just because you have money. So your friend, it was good that, he made that decision. And I'm sure that he's been able to deviate from that which you just received the salary and you spend everything and you have a nice car, you travel to Ahmad, to Dubai, to America, and you come. And then you panic when they say that they are going to downsize.
She will tell you the story herself when she's ready, she says.
You
One
see.
day will come. It probably
That's
will be
right.
Marie who will talk to. But she will approach one of you and tell you the story and identify herself as the person. I think this person is. And also, it is wonderful that these conversations are actually elevating so many of us into much better places than we would have ended up. My mother, when she was coming to retirement, was a whole stressful thing for me. My mother had worked diligently in key positions. She was a lecturer, she was a head of department, she was a this, she was a that. But when she turned 55, she got her first taste of what pension was going to be. And I remember her calling me and she shared what she had been giving as her projections. She pulled her pants and I pulled mine alongside because we realized that was the first taste I got that employment was a scam. After working in these prestigious positions and having served the way she had served and hadn't built the career she had built, we were actually looking at a poverty-stricken pension. Poverty-stricken pension my mom was staring at. We had to make some crazy decisions in the 5 years or so before. Actually, she took 2 years of a consultancy on top. So she actually retired finally when she was 62 because we came to that realization at 55. And she needed about 7 years to sort things out, to at least put things in some kind of order. And it taught me a lesson. I can't do what my mom did. My mom was lucky that I was able to and willing to assist. Not many people can even assist or will be willing to assist when they have their own families too. Let's go there. This
Yeah.
whole financial thing and
Mhm.
pension security. Let's discuss.
I think that you are likely to have, you see, maybe from most of us will complete school degree. Those of us who happen to go to school, by 25, a lot of people would be done. So you start to work around that time. I think from that time to the next 25, you must have a plan to build that wealth so that the other 25, which is from 50 to 75, you will not have to live of your children or of government or at the mercy of anybody. And I think that until you have built something, don't spend the money like the way a lot of people spend it. Take care of your children, all right, but look at how. If I happen to have 100,000, even in treasure bills, I will not struggle so much if I'm 70 or 80. So that is something that all of us must look at, even if you can build business. But those of us who are under 50, we should look at building something, even if you don't call yourself an entrepreneur. Ghana is mainly, you have to sell. We have to know how to sell something, sell a service, sell a concept, sell a product, sell something, make something over the internet, create some sources of revenue. If you don't have huge revenue coming from one source, then create a lot of them. If 10 is coming from this, 20 is coming from this, 30 is coming from this, do that. And when the money comes, don't waste it. That's a major challenge. We want to build 20-bedroom house and we don't have any million invested anywhere. I think that if you want to, Range Rover and all that, but you see, our media has also not helped us because then we see a lot of people who flash. So for us, wealth is car and a house, nice, and wedding, and wedding,
That's
those things.
Flash, Kwabena. Let's go there. So people like you who were willing to be modest,
Yes.
who were willing to hold off the instant gratification, even when you afford the car, decided to hold off and invest. You are the guys who are now in a position to buy anything of your choice because
Yes.
you've held, you did not flash.
Yeah.
Those who were stupid and flashed early, they squandered the capital that they had in their business. Some of them had very good businesses,
Yes.
but they took out the business very quickly to buy the Range Rover. What has happened to those people? Let's discuss that bit.
No, you see, there's something about money. You have to be straightforward to get money. I'm not talking of the one that you're changing the invoices or you're tricking people or you owe the bank, you won't pay, you owe your friend, you will not pay. I'm not talking of that. That's low quality. I'm talking of somebody who has lifted his standard to say that if I owe, I will pay. I'm not going to do a lot of those things. I think mainly, most people, the reason they want to flash all those things is because a lot of them, the sources of revenue is not so much something that they can easily declare. That is why some of them do that. I mean, if you really went through the processes to build a business, you would not want that business to drop just because you want to own a car. No, very few who have built businesses, who have employed people, straightforward people, because they look at the salary, they look at all the other engagements, So if you, anytime you see somebody who is saying that I've built wealth, but then they are flashy and they are trying to impress people, they want to tell people that they are rich, it's likely that they are not rich. What you really want to be boast of is the number of people that you have employed, the apartments that you have built, all those. Because then, if I have 20 apartments, what is a house? If I have cars working for, if my business has 10 cars, what is Range Rover?
Say that again.
I mean, do you think that Dangote is going around showing his Range Rover? No, I mean, let's face it. He's looking at the investment. I'm building oil refinery. I'm building a processing plant. I'm building this. That's really the wealth. So one of the things you can see that somebody is really not up to it is the kind of things that they're trying to flash to tell people that they are really rich. And always listen to them. The intelligence they exhibit, they express, will tell you that this one, there's something behind it. And so you don't follow such people because then it's built to fail. Money is said that you have to be straightforward. Tell yourself, I'm going to build it gradually. It has to be organic. And I'm not going to be, money has some spirit, some power around it. And you must lift your spirit above the power that money has to control you. And most people succumb. That's why when you get your salary, the money is speaking. I'm gonna go and buy a new bag. I'm gonna go for party. I'm gonna go and change your house because money talks. It speaks to all of us. So if you don't have a regiment, it will always overcome you. It will always overcome you.
So your discipline and your spirit must be higher and stronger to dominate money.
Yes.
And if you are able to do that, you will control money.
That's right. You control it. And that the discipline will come from the plan you have set. I'm saving money. I'm building investment. I'm buying this. I'm multiplying the money, because the money must come in and the money must be mailed. It's like nika, you mail the money, you multiply it before you spend it. But most of us would,
you make the money, you multiply the money.
Yes, before you spend it.
Before you spend it.
The salary must not be spent. It must not go straight into expenditure. That's why you will not have anything. Because we are changing iPhone. I went to a bank the other time. I saw the girl, nice, beautiful girl. The nails were, everything. But the phone she was using very expensive. I said, if you have this phone, why are you here?
In a bank?
Yes. Ask myself, I will not be here.
Bam.
I will not be here.
But that phone is a home office. But again, let's go. Most of us, people have iPhone 13 Pro Max. Mine is iPhone 2.
Yes.
This is an iPhone 2. The reason why I have an iPhone 2 is actually because it's my home office. This is my mobile office. I broadcast from this phone.
Yeah.
I teach from this phone. I do business from this phone. And so spending money to buy this phone makes some sense.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So I ask people all the time. Somebody was asking me, even common iPhone 13 Pro Max you can't buy. And I'm like, honey, this is still able. Yeah. This is still able to do what I want. I get that a lot. I look how tattered you look. I'm like, honey, I am still planting my seeds.
Yes.
I have managed to get a handful of seeds.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm choosing not to eat it yet.
That's right.
I am planting my seed. Yes. I am going to tend my ground. I am going to look tattered for years once I build. And especially now, my children are in school. I am investing in the children's education.
That's right.
These are seeds. All my money is going into actually 1 year school fees from those two children could buy me a Maserati if I wanted to.
You see?
It could.
Yeah.
But I won't ride a Maserati. So now I am here riding my Buzanga Volvo. You are laughing at me whilst you are flashing your iPhone 13 Pro Max. Fast forward 15, 20 years. You will be back here telling my children how lucky that they are. What you don't understand is the investment it takes for your children to ride. And so let's go there with these politicians and successful people. You hear a lot of us blaming them for everything. Kwabena, are you as frustrated with the economy as some of my brothers in my village are? Are you struggling?
No, I don't think the politician will redeem me. He's able to organize himself. It's okay, organize the community, organize the economy. Yes, I'm all for it. But no, you should build your life way above what politicians do.
Say that again.
And you should build your life way above what politicians do, especially what you eat and what you drink. Should not be tied to the economy. Because, for instance, now look at the dollar. It's running. How about if it gets to 100? Are you going to eat? Maybe you just bought a car, nice house. And maybe I built apartments. No matter how dangerous the economy gets, people will still want to rent anyway.
Kwabena, hold on. You've got one of them. Kofi says, so you want us not to enjoy life? Are you ready to enjoy life?
No, let him enjoy, but I want to build wealth. And who told you that I'm not enjoying life? What do you call enjoyment? That's the problem. What do you call enjoyment? That my check goes to the bank and it does not bounce. That's an enjoyment. That I'm able to pay the workers who work with me. That's an enjoyment. That the project that you have set for yourself, you're able to finish them under budget and on time. Homie, that's an enjoyment. Enjoyment is not going to party or no, that's not enjoyment per se. Especially when I've not hit the dreams that I've set for myself. So for me, what do you call enjoyment? So somebody meets me and he thinks that I'm not enjoying life. How do you know? How do you know? A lot of the things that we call
that laughter is enough. You see, Kwabena, in this particular climate where there might be a recession on the way, a lot of people are pulling their pants. If you are able to laugh the way you just laughed, then your systems are secure. Otherwise, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not funny. When it is August and you have problems paying your children's school fees, nothing is funny.
That's right.
Even if you are holding the best iPhone and you are riding I keep telling people, now you know where I live. The time when you came to see me the last time, we lived in a crazily big house. But I was now investing into a business. All my money had gone into the business. And if you asked me to find you $1,000, I could not have found it for you, cash sitting down somewhere. And yeah, a lot of people will laugh at you in those episodes. But I lived in a great house and I drove a good car. But I couldn't have shown you $1,000 sitting somewhere spare. That's because sometimes you get the priorities wrong with certain things. And my business was not even set up. I was only just about starting the business at the time. I had only just woken up. And I realized, to live in a kind of house and drive this kind of car when your business is not going to be able to sustain it doesn't make sense. I have backtracked. I have worked it. I am still working it. And I want us to actually spend some time on the group of people like me, caught in careers, living apparently good lives, doing all the good things, looking good, but it's all half. Let's explore that bit.
I think it's an understanding. And a lot of it is because people don't read about finance. Okay. People don't read about wealth. And your persuasion is where where your choices are. And for me, the one that will do the trick for you is to start to educate yourself. Read books. Get books on how to build wealth. Then you will see that the world operates differently from what you think you really doing, because you can drive nice car, big house, but at the end of the month, how much are you investing? How much is coming from the investments that you have made? Have you built any investment at all? Whether it's maybe stock or T-bills, or maybe from your apartment, or from your businesses, or from your cocoa farm or orange farm, or from the cattle that you have. Somebody said that he has about 100 cows in the north. And I think he's a lawyer or a teacher, and he built them over time.
Absolutely.
So do you have something like that? If you don't have anything like that, and your only source of income is salary, you are late.
And you have answered the question, Evangelist Amma just put here. How do you live above the politician? He's just told you, buy cows if cows are your thing. Build a business if business is your thing. Invest your capital in other people's business if you don't want to do business. Find a way in which your money grows and multiplies.
That's right.
And grows above the inflation rate. You will not care. I don't know what the inflation rate is. Do you know the inflation rate, Kwabena?
I'm not following it now. It's about 30, 31.
30. Yeah. Do you experience 31% inflation yourself daily?
Me, myself?
Yes, personally.
No, I don't follow them. I don't follow them.
No,
you
really?
Just have to, because you see, we live so much about what comes in and where we live so low.
It's not near.
Errors can easily be taken care of.
Okay, so now the question is, I'm guessing that you don't have a daily ritual against the president daily. You are not screaming and shouting.
No.
You don't fight him.
No, I hope that they're able to do things to make sure that the dollar comes down.
Yes,
I hope that they're able to pay their contractors. I hope that they're able to, discipline themselves so that they can make sure that our country runs.
You hear your words, hope. You are not demonstrating against the president, are you?
Not at all.
You don't care about him?
I care that they must make sure that, because if the economy is not right, then people will lose their jobs and things like that. But as a person, I'm not expecting the president's decision to decide what comes to what food I eat. No.
Say that again. Slowly.
As a person, no, the food that I eat has nothing to do with who is the president of the country. No, not at all.
You are not linking your ability to feed to what the president.
No, not at all.
Why not?
Why should I? Why should I? No, I don't think you should build your life and pray for them and hope for the best from them. Hold them accountable if you have to. But there are jobs for politicians, and there are jobs that you have to do yourself.
Say that again.
There are jobs for politicians, and there are jobs that you have to do yourself. And that's where your grip on your personal finances, is very much important. Your grip, the way you hold the finances. 10,000 comes in every month, but you spend everything every month. So what is the future?
Ouch.
If 10,000 is coming in and you still need the 10,000, then make sure that it's 20,000 coming in, 50,000 that is coming in. Then you can spend the 10,000 and enjoy yourself, as somebody said. But if you can add 10,000 to it, and it's 10,000, then spend 5,000. Keep some, because there's no farmer who cannot plant with a seed.
Bam.
So long as something comes to you, you can multiply it. If you so have the education and the discipline, you know. But if you spend a lot of your time looking at the negatives, and a lot of people will listen to something, and it's always politics that they're listening to. You go to their channel, it's politics, it's politics. And those of us who go to church, it's religion, politics, religion, praying for hours. Where is the money? If it's money that you're looking for, that is not the answer. Africans have to be told again, the Christ you follow, he said that who wants to build a house and not sit down and calculate? You want to build anything? It's out of expertise. It's not prayer. You don't pray to become rich. Money is not a miracle. They have not been truthful to us. That's why the Chinese have money. The Arabs have money. There's something they know about money. They are not praying for money. They plan. Your religious life, your prayer life, and all those help you to become a good person, believe in God, treat people well. Absolutely. But don't pray for money and say that when I go to church and give somebody money, then I will be rich. How many millionaires have you seen do that? You must,
multiply your money. And you see that we do it in church as well as we do it in the shrines, and then we give it to Sagari. There are different places, but it's always multiply.
It's the same concept. Yes. And it's not true. It's not true. Those who have money are into production. They're into business.
Good.
They are creating wealth.
Good.
These are the ones that but when you say it, then they want to say that you are talking against God. It's not God. We are talking against principles that don't work. In this world, those who have built anything, they know something. I'm an engineer, process engineer. If the process is wrong, the product will be wrong. So you have practiced this for the last 40 years. Look at the results now. If the results is not good, your process is wrong. You see, your process is wrong. And so you look at it, the process, the mental processes, the things that you practice, the belief systems, the religious belief systems. If you said that, oh, I live in Ghana, I will never be rich. Who told you? Go to every village. There's a rich man there. Don't deceive yourself.
Where do you live?
I live in Ghana. I'm in Accra.
Bam.
Yeah.
I can also tell you, I don't have a fraction of what his worth is, but he grew it in Ghana.
Yes, we built it here. And so it's a belief. You have to work on the belief. You have to work on the knowledge. You have to work on how you practice, the routines that you follow. A lot of things, you must work on them. And the moment is like a car, which is in motion, that they have used the strings to hold the ties. It's in motion, but they have used strings to hold all the 4 ties. If you cut the ties, the car will move. And so when you bring knowledge, illumination to people, they will see that they are in the blessing already. It's just the understanding. It's just how they have to reorganize. All of us have some blessings somewhere. We may not even value them. You have your grandfather left you big land in the village. You say that you are poor. How can you be poor when you have big land in your village? It's knowing what to do with that treasure that you have is the problem. You know?
Isn't that the problem mainly with Africa? We are the holders of the world's wealth.
Yes.
So we're always poor. And people always say to me, it doesn't make sense, Amma, how can they have all these things in Africa? And it's just because of the way we utilize what we have. We have it.
That's right. Yeah.
We want to know how to utilize.
Yes, the information, the knowledge.
Personally. Yeah.
The knowledge, the way we think about what we have.
Yeah.
You know, what you have, there's worth here.
Yeah.
Serious worth. But do we have the skill set, the knowledge?
Do we even have the desire? Because most of us we don't like the things that will help us. It's not fancy because we want to stay in an office. We want to ride a nice car to a nice place, sit in an air condition and get rich. But that's not the formula for getting rich, is it?
No, that's not it. There's somebody who's selling Tozafi. He has 7 points, 7 joints. Tozafi. She's a rich woman. There's somebody who's selling Chinchinka, 8 points. She's a rich woman. There's somebody who is selling just tomato in the market. They are rich. You see, when it comes to Ghana, our economy is not what they call industrialized economy. Okay? So the way they pay job will not be the same as industrialized economy. So people who have money are people who are building businesses, individual businesses. They have money. So if you come to Ghana and you want to compare yourself with people who have money, go to the provision shop owner, go to the Kelewele seller, go to the one who is selling water in front of them, because some of them can make sales 300 Ghana cedis every day, 1,000 Ghana cedis every day, 2,000 Ghana cedis every day. Go to Makola and ask them. They have wealth, money. They have houses built everywhere. A lot of them don't even have any certificate from any school. So money is not certificate. Separate the two. You want to speak English like I'm speaking, go to Legon. You want money, go to Makola. You want to start something. Build, create economic value.
Let's talk about those two things also, because it's important to me that we put these things together. You see, Kwabena, going to Makola is amazing. Going to Legon is amazing.
Yes.
Getting both is better.
Okay, yes. Yes, get both. But you see, the other ones, there's training that they give to you at Legon. By the time you finish, you don't want to go to Makola.
Well, so that's the thing. You have to separate the two. Going to Makola, because I hear a lot of people say that also. Kwabena, one of the bottom lines also is that you've gone into business as an engineer, thinking as an engineer, bringing engineering problem-solving approaches to business.
Yeah, yes.
One of the reasons why you've been successful. So we cannot speak about this one too.
Yes,
also,
I agree. Yes, but I'm saying that if you go to Legon, you go for certificate.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the certificate is wrong.
Yeah.
But the certificate is not the money.
The certificate is not everything.
No.
And the market is also not everything. And
so you don't go to the market to look for certificate.
Good.
If I go to market, I'm not looking for certificate.
Because, again, these are questions I was having with my son. My daughter in particular, she says, Mom, but you say to be entrepreneurs. Why do you want us to go to university? Why do you say? I always say to them that I will fund university for them. And when they finish, they can set up any way they want. I will support their growth. But Mom, why do you want us to go to the university? And I always say to them, it's for credentials, it's for credibility, it's for exposure, it's for connections.
Yes.
Because some of the best connections in these institutions
come from the university. Absolutely. Analytical thinking, like my engineering background, analytical thinking, critical thinking, looking at data, making decisions. Even the English that I'm speaking, I'm sure that I got it from some school somewhere. So that is the school. It broadens your mind. It gives you the ability to think and structure things well. That is what the school has given you. Now go and use that to create economic value.
Bam!
Yes. Then you are utilizing the school. So because we are here. People are working on site, people are working in the shops, but we are here. Marie is a mathematician. I'm an engineer. Those are tough qualifications. You can put your mind to work, and if anybody challenges you, you can face them. It's not like my friend who's a politician will just come and bully me. No, I will stand up to you. So
So let's talk. Kwabena, some of these ministers are your classmates. And also, let's admit, that also brings some value to your systems and enables you to ride some shoulders. True or false?
Yeah, true. The school will give you connection. The school will give you network. Utilize that. Utilize that, Utilize that. But then a lot of our people don't utilize that. They only use the school to get government job. And for me, and whether we like it or we don't like it, where we are going, Ghana is producing over 300,000 graduates every year. People with higher education. But we are not creating the so-called jobs that they are coming to do. So we cannot continue to say that when you finish school, you get a job. It's not true. No, but then let them be proud that when you finish that school, whatever that you are doing, you can use the school to polish it, to organize it, and to make it.
This is the real truth.
And whatever you are doing, be proud of it. Whatever that you're doing with the school that you have gone to, be proud of it. Never let anybody trivialize whatever you're doing because you think, for instance, a lot of our people will say that I went to school, I didn't get a course. I went to school, I didn't get a job. That's not it.
Okay.
Not more than 10% will work with the so-called course that they had it from the university. The fact is that you have gone to school, now create the life that you want with your talent, with your desire, with your passion. That is what you do. And so somebody asked me, you're an engineer, why are you trying to build business? I said, but the greatest of all entrepreneurs are engineers. Because you are taught problem solving.
Yes.
You think to solve problems. So use that to go and build business. Use that. And so whatever course that you think you have done, go and start something. Start cassava farm and see if you become successful. Whatever that you want.
These things are interesting because I started the women in printing thing. And this guy was like, how can you be making T-shirts and mugs when you were in graduate? And I don't just make T-shirts and mugs. I am a scientist, and the kind of printing I do, ask anybody who's bought any of my products. They will tell you it's not standard. It's not
detailed. Yeah.
A lot of attention to detail. There is my chemist background put to use. There is everything I have ever known. And actually, most importantly, there is the branding and positioning, which comes from the exposure I have had on my travels. Every aspect of what experience I have had in this life plays a role in my current business and what I do.
Yes.
That's how you maximize it.
You see, that's right. You only feel useless with your degree when you think you can't get a job with it.
Yes.
Then you think your school is nothing. But you should never feel useless, because you can always. Who prevents you if you want to start a business? Who tells that you can't? Do you need a certificate to start a business? In terms of, do you need somebody to qualify you? No. Do you need somebody to qualify you to build wealth? No. The greatest things of life, there's no barrier. You just have to develop yourself and go after them and keep at them until you succeed. You know, go after them until you succeed. And for me, if you don't build that, then when you go and you meet trouble, then you shake. So a lot of the things that people ask you, those are old ideas, actually. Those are knowledge that you don't really find in great societies. You should never ask somebody with all the school, what do you think education is for?
No, that exposes a misunderstanding of it all. But also, these people say that to me, Amma, it is these your education things are useless. I'm like, huh? Listen, I don't have a lot of money right now. But I can actually go to people who build businesses, and I can demand a lot of money to do a lot of things for them that they cannot do. So in the space of time now, I can actually accrue a lot of money in a short space of time because of the skills I have that a lot of people don't have. And so this is how life is. You've got to balance these things right. Yes, I have spent a long time building myself here. Right now, I don't have anything. 2 years, right now, I can go to people who have big monies, and I can actually ask them to run their adverts on my page alone. That alone can make me financially comfortable. By just taking their money and advertising their businesses, I can do. So that justifies all the time it has taken to get here too.
To build.
It's really long.
Yes, it takes time to build. You see, I don't think that you can do it in a year or two.
No.
Especially if you don't come with much, if you don't come with a lot of, it takes time. It takes time for you to build wealth. It takes time for you to build business. It takes time for you to build network. It takes time for you even to get a certificate. You go to school, by the time you're 25, maybe you have first degree. That is 25 years of going through this process, So it's not something that you just get up today and tomorrow is that. But then if you stay with it, success is assured. In anything that you put your hand to do, if you stay with it and you continue to learn and you work, it pays off. So there's nothing like failure to me. Actually, if I want to build business, I'm just going at it. This one will fail. This one will fail. Sometimes you can drop about 7-10 businesses. The idea comes, you start to build and it fails because you didn't look at it well. Then another one will come. You fail. Then somewhere that you didn't even expect, it starts to work. And it's because now you have become a different person with a different skill set, with different ability to make decisions and pick the right people and position well. So it takes time. And I said that we as Ghanaians, we as Africans, we must know that a lot of this information have not been pushed on us.
No.
Okay, so that's why the other ones have been pushed on us. But this kind of principles, laws, have not been so much pushed on us. So when we hear them, we just want to say, somebody in America. No, this is Ghana. This is Nigeria. This is Kenya. This is Africa. The opportunities that they will easily give the others, they may not give you easily. You may have to fight until you get it. Understand that. I know that it takes time, but it works. So I think that all of us must look at our continent. A lot of people are coming to Ghana, to Nigeria to build wealth, fortune, and we are running away. We must not. We must look at all the opportunities here and they're everywhere. So mute the negativity. Mute the negativity. And we can't do it. Ghanaians will chop your money. Let them chop. They cannot finish chopping all your money. Let them chop some. Once they get sense, they will stop chopping.
Actually, hold on. Between a Chinese and a Ghanaian, who should chop my money?
Ghanaians should chop your money, I think.
If a Ghanaian chops my money, he will take it to my economy. It will benefit a brother or sister.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
in the grand scheme of things, it's better that a Ghanaian chops my money, and
Yes.
so on. But see, again, that's another principle most of us have not understood, especially within the Afro Caribbean community. We have not understood the principle of ring fencing resources within a community. When you go to, I learned it here. When you go here, you are trying to buy something from an Indian shop and they don't have it. They will ring the next Indian shop. They will get out themselves and go find it from an Indian person. They will make sure you buy from an Indian because they want the money to come to their community. When the money goes into their community, they would never buy from any other place except within their community. So they ring fence the money stays in their community, and the community grows and develops. We, stupid, we want to go to the Chinese shop so everybody sees we are now shopping in Chinese places. Yes, we want to eat in Indian-owned restaurants. Just so, yeah, we live in Accra, but we want to go to, I don't know, who has a big shop, a big restaurant. We want to go to the Kempinski's.
The foreign owned.
Exactly. And this is one of the problems in our economy anyway. We don't know how to ring fence money and keep it within a community. We don't understand the herd mentality that other people have used to develop. We don't understand that we've got to push each other and collectively make progress so that our progress is meaningful. Kwabena Obeng Darko. Yeah, go on.
It's systemic. Look at, they use the tribes, when the Europeans were here, they used the tribes for us to fight among ourselves. They used
absolutely.
They will use the Kwabena, the Fante, the gun to fight the other tribes, or they will use this one. Now they cut out Nigeria from Togo or Benin. So if you look at even the physical, it is separate them, and we have carried that subconsciously. So coming together is something that have been diffused. It's just become part of it, which we can deal with anyway. That's why the Jamaican looks like me, but he thinks it's Jamaican. The Nigerian looks like me, but he thinks it's Nigerian. Somebody looks like me, but he thinks it's Anaway or something or something. So we look at ourselves at the small level, and we cannot win that way. But if somebody wants to overcome you, they would have to break you, chop you into pieces, so that they can have inroads, and push for their agenda. It's everywhere, and we can see it. That's why we would want to give the contract to the Chinese.
It is a mentality. You see, Amma has gone there. Our people don't lack any more integrity than other people lack integrity. The Chinese is not better at doing any project in Ghana than Indian is.
No.
It's an attitude, and it is a brainwashing thing that has gone on. And so majority of us, without any evidence, will still tell you that there's something fundamentally wrong with a black person, but that thing is not wrong with other communities.
It's not true.
It's not evidence. It's not.
It's not.
And even if the story of China actually proves when the Chinese started producing, their products were shite. And you guys all know it. When I was a kid, China was laughable. Nobody wanted it. None of us bought it. Guess who bought the China made? The Chinese.
The Chinese.
And when they bought it, the Chinese realized that it wasn't good. They kept complaining. So the shops began to improve. And guess who bought it? The Chinese. And after the Chinese had spent 20 years, 30 years buying, complaining, and continuing to buy to sustain these industries, now the industries have also built capacity now that they can top-notch quality that the rest of us all buy. Who built the Chinese industries were Chinese. Who sustained the Chinese industries were Chinese. It was not perfect, but they saw a process. And that's a lesson for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We need to hold ourselves until you become better. Don't say that, the product, there's no quality. The guy doesn't have much money. So how does he build a good quality product? Where is the machine? Where's the market?
Bam.
If you start to buy from him and he's committed, don't say that, your people run away with your money. They want too much profit. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. Don't tell us that you can't trust the Ghanaians, but you can trust who? The multinational companies who operate in Ghana, those in oil company, or those drilling the oil, or those in the minerals area, do you think what they take from here, they declare everything? Go and look at their contract laws. They make sure that a certain amount will not go to even the locals. What is more dishonest than that?
Bam!
And yet we hold ourselves, even the contracts that they write, there are projects that they will not give to the locals. And you tell us that, yes, you tell us that if you give to the Ghanaian, you run away with your money. That's colonial mindset. And there's something we call colonial mindset. There's something we call colonial thinking. And all of us must peg ourselves out of that. The way we think, look down upon ourselves, mistrust ourselves, don't have confidence in ourselves. Somebody says that corruption. Do you know the time that they started to use corruption on Africans? The very time that they came here, they said that these people are uncooked, unpolished. Let's continue to tell them that. Even though they came to see something different, they came to see a people who were civilized, honest, straightforward.
People. We have not understood who we are. We don't know our history. We don't understand our present. And so our future is shaky. I always say to Black women, especially Black women who speak to me, Anna, your voice is deep. And I'm like, no, it's commanding. No, I don't have to have a shrill voice. No, I want a deep timbre so that I give you goosebumps when I speak. There's nothing wrong with it. People from other communities will make me feel like it's masculine, as if it's wrong. But what they are actually saying is a powerful voice. But instead of you listening to these things and re-narrating it to yourself in this way, in the real truth, most of us will go with the narrative. A woman should not look like this. You should do this before. And all these things are bought into. I say to Black women, and this is something I want to raise here. If you go to the dungeons, and Ghana has a lot of them, I want to take more of you with me to a trip, on a trip to Cape Coast Castle. I will show you a very interesting door that should change the way you feel about yourself as a Black person. That transformed totally. I went to Cape Coast Castle once, and I saw a little door from the female slave dungeon. But in the male one, there was no door. So I asked the person, what is this door? And the person laughed. Oh, this is the special door. Through this door, the filthy slave women who were sitting in their own poo in the dungeon were collected and washed for the colonial master, who had his beautifully well-dressed wife already in residence, but he desired the Black woman who was filthy in the dungeon, could not contain himself. Now that should say a lot to a lot of us, but most of us don't even see this power at all. Yeah. We are busy cheapening it and looking for cheap alternatives. This is how powerful it is. Even when you are in filth, it was difficult to resist. Difficult. And if you go down south in Ghana,
but which woman, Amma, which woman is more beautiful than the African woman?
I don't know.
Which woman? Tell me. If you travel and you come to Ghana, you see, the most beautiful thing when you come back to Ghana, you see beautiful women. So beautiful.
But you see,
I don't know if I see.
They will never tell the truth. You see, this very colonial master also spent ages telling the Black woman she was ugly and she was filthy and she was dirty, but he could not control himself around this filthy, dirty woman, even when the beautifully polished one was available. The one person I never envy is the governor's wife, knowing that you are washed, polished, but your husband has to leave you every night. Now that's a problem. But you see, these things are supposed to be things that we tell of our own stories, and we liberate ourselves mentally so that what people give you in the general rhetoric doesn't mean anything anymore.
That's right. And there's no better education than the education of yourself. As a matter of fact, the foundation of education is history. If the history is weak, there's no other education that you'll be given that is right. So an African woman will not accept herself. I will try to bleach, change her skin, change everything, change her name, because of the sense of history that she has or she doesn't have. The moment she starts to get the right history, she becomes confident and she becomes proud of what she has. Absolutely. So I'm a dark African woman. I have big lip, different nose. I'm not. You don't say that somebody with small lip or flat something is more beautiful than I am. That's not true. It's the information that you have, the content that you have, and there's no other race that has come under attack than the African. There's no other race. And that's why we have to dig. Go study, go through the internet, search it, so that the doubts that most of us have about our race, ourselves, we can stop them. History will heal that if you start to re-educate yourself, because a lot of the education that they have given us, they were designed to make us feel inferior. When the American Constitution was being written, Africans there were not human beings. Never forget that. They were not human beings. When Ghana, how old is Ghana? 60-something. 1900, Ghana was not a country. They said that we were unpolished people, uncivilized. They had to come and polish us. They had to give us English names. They had to, even tell us that when you go to school, don't speak your language. My language that I have, I can't speak it. Somebody must teach me differently.
Eat your own food. Look, you can't eat your own food. And if you eat your own food, when I came to Ghana, and every time I do videos and I'm eating with my hands, people are like,
yes.
Oh, how can you do that? I'm like, what do you mean? What makes it more legitimate to eat with a metal fork or a wooden stick than my hand? What makes it better? Explain it to me. But you see, these are the redemptions that you give of yourself. A lot of you, most of you who view me, still give me a lot of grief. This week, I've spent it talking to people about you have to take care of your appearance. And I'm like, no, that's still conformist. And to live the conformist life is to waste a lot of your energy on things that don't matter. Not so, Kwabena.
Yes, that's it. They say Brazilian hair, Africans, 100 million Africans like you and myself. I've never seen that kind of hair before. It's always the Indian hair. There's a lot of information that we need to, because if we don't see ourselves as equal and as a great people, we cannot change the narratives of our continent. The only reason other people continue to push us is because we allow them. We feel like they feel like they are superior to us. The moment we stand up to them,
we do.
Yeah, the moment we stand up to them, but we cannot stand up if we are not confident in who we are and we are not proud of who we are and we are not proud of ourselves. Absolutely. And you cannot be proud of yourself until you start to have the right education, the right narratives, so that you correct the history. Oh, they sold their people into slavery. Those kind of things that they continue to say. The greatest of the tribes in Ghana at that time was the Asantes. And Asante was not that powerful until the mid-17th, 18th century, which is 1750, thereabout, that they became powerful. But the Europeans had been here 1450. So they had been here for almost 200 years. And yet you tell us that we started to sell our people. No.
But you see, again, these stories, this is why I started my tour company. I started my tour company because I knew that the narrative which is being fed to people is definitely not true, but I can cry about it. Nobody will tell the story the way it needs to be told. So I have taken many people, especially to the Larabanga Mosque. Close to the Larabanga Mosque, there is the mystery stone. And also around the mosque, there is the spear. And if you go into any of the slave camps, Picoro or wherever, when you go there, you also see the watchtowers, things that they use to keep them slaves. You go.
Right. So am I talking? I think it's frozen, so she will come back. But really, if you and for you to do business, you must be proud of yourself, and you must be looking for all the positives in our people, in our continent. That the reason they constantly show all the negatives of Africa globally is for them to feel superior and for us to feel inferior. The wealth that we have, we must be the ones who are benefiting first. And that will not happen if we don't stand up for ourselves. And we cannot stand up for ourselves if we continue to take this kind of education that they have given us. Education is self-discovery. So if you're not proud of who you are, of your heritage, you have not been educated. You can be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, president, it does not matter. If you cannot fight for your people, if you cannot treat your people well, if you cannot put your people first, you are not educated. If you have the best of contract and you give it to foreigners, you are ill-educated. If you don't trust that your people can deliver, you are ill-educated. And look at the Chinese. They don't do that. They're fighting for themselves. And we are here trying to promote everybody. But it's not our fault. They gave us wrong thing. We can change it. If not for us, for our children, so that they can stand. They are not inferior to anybody. And if they say that your economy is developing, that's a lie. We have a different kind of economy, different kind of culture. Can you tell me how many people in America will be able to own a house if they didn't give them free money or mortgage? Ghana, nobody gives us anything, but we still be able to do something for ourselves. If the guy is selling on the street and is feeding his family, is better than the one that the government is giving free money to. We must challenge everything that they continue to push on us. Okay?
Wait. Now you've thrown me so much. I will come back to that one, but let me deal with Edward. Edward, see, in this life, there are realities. The reality is that right now, the only common language everybody on this page understands is English. It doesn't mean that I speak this language and it changes who I am. I speak English because I want you to understand. No, I speak English and it doesn't really affect my self-esteem. It's just a lingua I am using. My identity should still be secure. And I should actually be able to speak English. So that a person, I love this, when people meet me and think you don't speak English, and then you speak to them, they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize you speak English. Is it because of my skin color? Did you think English speaking with the shape of my nose or whatever?
Edward.
Go on.
Yes, but Edward, we had this interaction with them. I think that at the time of independence, we should have added a lot of our local languages. We didn't. And then we have Africans who are not here. Even there are people in Kenya, there are people in South Africa who will be watching this. There are people in Jamaica. Unfortunately, that's the best side. It's a bad side for us. We should be able to come up with a language that represents the Africans and a language that represents each African country. But at the moment, we don't have it. So it's not like we speak this English with pride. No, I think we speak it with pain, some way. But we have to bear with it until we're able to re-engineer something for the future. So it's not like we're speaking it with pride, not at all. And the other things that we can easily change, we will change them. You know, the other things that we can easily change, we will change them.
But you went there with the poverty thing. See, people say to me all the time, oh, Africans are poor. But you just went there, said that the guy who sells on the streets and feeds himself and his family is better than those who do it with aid. Explain.
Yes, I'm saying that somebody is in England and the government is taking care of him, social welfare. And you say that you are in a rich country. But the guy selling on the street, you say that he doesn't have anything. He's $1 a day. You sure? How much is watching? It's never true. See, when you say the dollar is more powerful than the city, it's not true. You are spending dollar in a dollar economy. I'm spending city in the city economy. If I'm able to build my house, buy my car, do a lot of things without loan, you can't say that you are richer than myself. It's like America. They print dollar and send it everywhere. This COVID, Ghana did not print any money from anywhere. You know? And yet you tell us that you are a richer country. England is richer. But 300 years, they were everywhere, taking people's gold. Do you know how much gold they took from Ghana? Have they used them? They are still there. That's why the pounds is solid. Because of the centuries, that they took all this gold from here, that they are stabilizing the economy with that. So learn it. Learn the world economies. This kind of economy that we have is a hegemony which is built for the white male, not even the white female. The white male. That's why you see all the billionaires. All the billionaires are where? They're white. Male. They own all these economies around the world. Can't you see it? The laws, the global structures, the global financial structures are built for them. For the last 50 or 100 years, it has been like that. And it's an offshoot from.
This was true until 15 years ago. Very true. Let me tell you what happened 15 years ago. 15 years ago, 16 years ago, YouTube started. And when it started, a lot of these typical people who did well went on. And you see, this was also uncensored. It was open access. Remember, the reason why economies favored the white male is because the money was already with the white male. The white male invests and could get better. The rest of us did not have the money to get started in industries. When YouTube came, followed by other social media platforms, especially when these things became monetized and invited any ordinary person to be able to be creative, to be able to put content, to be able to build an audience, that's where the game for me. It's actually the first person who drew my attention to this is a very Caucasian friend of mine. And the person said to me, this is a game changer for your people.
Yeah.
If you guys really want to level the playing field, this is your best. Now you don't need certificates to do stuff.
Yeah.
Now you don't need money. All it takes is your passions, your talents, your creativity, and you guys have got it to the ton. If only some of you will be smart enough to start positioning, to take advantage. And this is why I started teaching these things. I started teaching because this is our game changer.
Yeah,
this is our best.
Yeah. Best. They kept us in darkness. So the average person in Ghana now would think that when you get to America, it's heaven.
No.
Where? From Hollywood movies. Until he starts to get different information, say, hey, it's not like that. The average person in America thinks that Africa, there's poverty, isn't it? And all of us want to run to America. That's not true. Or England. There are a lot of white people who are struggling in England who still think they're better than most people in Africa. That's not true.
Komisa has also gone there. Let's go there. Look, let me also give you some of the bottom lines. Kwabena Obeng Darko is in Ghana doing well because Kwabena Obeng Darko also went somewhere else, took money from something else, brought it to Ghana to build. We've got to tell the truth so that everybody understands. Look, we want to stay in Ghana and build. Kwabena, go on.
We didn't bring any money to Ghana.
You didn't bring, you got experience.
No, zero. Now, how long did I stay there? It's not more than 2 years in Europe and some few other months in somewhere.
I want to go there. This one too. I will go with your perspective and this one. Let's also say these things because sometimes people say to me, oh, stay here. Sometimes you've got to go somewhere, discover something, even if it's not great, go to see perspectives. If you go and you get money, take the money and bring it back. Going somewhere and coming back to start is also not a crime.
No.
Whatever it takes you to be able to build, do it. Not so, Kwabena.
Yes, I think that they put they took all of us and we worked for years. The people they took to Jamaica, to America, to England, they were our families, our ancestors. They were people of our blood. So it's not like we have to run away from there to be there if you have to be. But be there, don't just look for a job. Build something, fight the system, create wealth. Because the way to keep us under is to make sure that we just focus on the job. And they focus on industry, innovation, and wealth creation. And there are infrastructure in place that are meant that if you are from Ghana and you are here, you can build a proper business. So if you look at the fractions, you see that, no, there's a system somewhere. If you look at maybe 70% of your people are in this category, particular industry, this particular job category, it means that is how the system is designed to keep you here. If you see all the people building all these IT companies, they are this particular. Where is the funding going? Where is the money going? Where are they sending the funding? The funding that supports a lot of these, new businesses. Where are they? Who is pushing that? Who are in control of that? That is where the system has developed. But then if we get understanding, then we can say that the retail shops, we must build some. The construction companies, the properties that they are building, we must. And we must all desire. We should not say that, let me stay in my small corner. No. The way to change the game is when we start to get money. Then they will be forced to listen. They are not going to listen to us if you are poor. No, forget it. It's wealth. The wealth is controlled by wealth. Even if you want to go to war and you don't have money, Putin, if he runs out of money, they will go after him. It is money. And that is the money that they understand. And they keep a lot of things from us so that we are sober and we are, let's make sure that our next generation go for the wealth. We should be able to have thousands of Dangote. We should be able to have thousands of our people. So when you are giving examples, you are not going to say that, oh, and this and this. Quote the Africans. Quote the Africans. You have been able to build things.
Very valid point. So for me and my platform, it took me a long time to actually think, and it was compelling. And so I made the switch. I was on a tree channel. I spoke tree for years. I educated and went. And then the audience reach changed. So it made no sense to speak a language that a significant number of people don't understand. I am here for outcomes. And for my outcomes, it makes sense that I speak a language that most of you here understand. You are right. Some people can't speak English. What is stopping you from serving them? PY, what is stopping you from serving them? Who says I am the only person who needs to serve everybody? So the day you are given this inspiration to question my inability to serve a group is the day you are called to responsibility to serve them. You can serve them too. Doesn't have to be me.
Right?
Yeah, it's easier always to point fingers at somebody else and to put it to somebody else. No, I put it to you. I'm serving the English audience. Serve the other audience. You are also a person. You can serve too. So please serve. Kwabena, I promised Kwabena I was going to take an hour. I agree. I've taken an hour and a half. You come back. I'll try on the network. So I was telling Kwabena, those of you who didn't know, I do have a page which is 100% network oriented. That page is supposed to be for everybody from all walks of life, taking advantage of what leverage I've managed to build to put information across, to interact with people. And those of you who fancy yourself as content creators, you can use that to get introduced to the audience and to build. That channel is not language specific. It will be run like the TV stations and the radio stations run. There will be a schedule and the program will have its language. So it tells you 10 o'clock on Monday mornings is an English medium video that you can watch. Then you can come on at that time and you can watch. And even if you miss it, you can go into that playlist and see the videos. If you want to bring something from Zimbabwe, you are very, very welcome to do so. So the Manson network, and it will launch properly on the 1st of September. And yes, I will be calling Kwabena to take a segment for sure, to take a segment on financial liberty and to teach this on a regular basis. He didn't know this before because I hadn't told him, but I'm telling him now with all of you watching. I'm going to tempt Kwabena to take a slot for a while and to do this on a regular basis. Yeah, something he dictates, he comes up with a schedule, shares his books. You guys can interact with him. It is a very simple thing to do. So go to the page, follow the page in the first instance. And if you are somebody who can take advantage of the page and you can take advantage of the springboard, I do invite you to do so. My page is for me and my outreach. I want to hang on to that one for me and the people that I interact with. This is a monologue and I bring guests every now and again. But I also know that I need to serve more. And that's the reason why I have gone with the network. The network is not something I control on my own. It is a network that I am building for all of us. It looks like this at the moment. So the Manson network, it is empowering you to become much more than you currently think. And this video, funnily enough, is our first video live on the network. If you've not followed the page, follow the page, share it to places. If you can take advantage of the network for your own showcasing or whatever, if you can think of any way in which we can build this together for us. Stories from the Caribbean, very, very welcome. I want to do a documentary from Egypt. Fine. I want to speak Ethiopian language on the network. I don't mind. Ethiopians can watch. Amma, I want to teach Patois on the network. Be my guest. I will be here to watch. Amma, I am a good Twi teacher. I want to teach Twi. I actually do want so many of us from different communities to interact so that we can discover the similarities. We have been brainwashed to see the differences only. We need to realize the similarities and we realize the strength in the unities we can find. Skin color doesn't really change anything. There are some sisters of mine who don't have any melanin, but they are as loyal to me as I am loyal to them. Melanin doesn't change anything. And there are some people who have the same volume of melanin in their skin who are my enemies because they don't like me. Full stop, simple. These things are all things we need. Yeah, the melanin doesn't change much, you know. With or without melanin, some spirits are kindred spirits, some spirits are just not, and so on. And we have to actually start evaluating things on merit, not just on the feelings. So, Kwabena, I am definitely going to be tempting you to come here and do more of this. But for today, I have actually stolen 30 minutes more than I said I was going to. So I will let Kwabena tell you where you can find him and where you can find his other teachings. I still suggest you go find some of the earlier work he did in particular. The work that he did in the early days on his channel are priceless. Tell them where to go for the channel. Tell them how to find your books, how they can buy them, and that would be great.
Okay, I've enjoyed myself. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. And so my YouTube channel is Obeng Darko. There is real estate, sessions on them, personal development, financial information, all kind of things that my main objective is to recondition our mind as a people, to be proud of ourselves and build the right mindset and the right skill set to live to the best of our abilities and for the prosperity of our continent and of our people. And we must all see it as our responsibility wherever that we live. And so I have some books as well. This is Perspective, how to develop the mindset to start and build your own business. This one is Streamline, how to teach yourself money, and Resilience, how to be tough if you want to become an entrepreneur. Doing business in Ghana can be tough, but if you have the inbuilt strength or you continue to build yourself, nothing can overcome you. I have a course on obendarko.com.gh as well, and Obeng Darko is on Facebook. You can see me there. We have a lot of information there, and we are also on Peace FM Fridays 5 p.m. and Sundays as well. Once in a while we do that around 4 p.m. with my friend Odia Hinkai, and nothing will liberate our people but the right information. First, the seed for change is knowledge, and we must liberate our people so that the frustration can go down and build wealth as well. And I dare say that entrepreneurship is the way for us to change the game. Actually, if a lot of us are building businesses, building investments, going into agriculture, and on Amazon as well, the books are on Amazon Kindle. If you type my name, Kwabena Obeng Darko, yes, you can see all the books there as well. And that's the game. If you have a son who has completed school and he said that he can't do anything, he can do something, let him sell granite or something. Continue to learn. The next time you see that granite is building a whole automobile industry out of the granite that he started. It really does not matter how you start. It's the business skills that he has to develop and understanding the culture, understanding the people, having respect for them, and having that strength to keep going when everybody is telling them to stop, and not to see that if I don't get visa, then I'm useless. If I don't get government job, then I'm useless. If I don't get government, multinational job, then no, it's not true. They can create opportunities from wherever they are if they have the right knowledge. So I want to say thank you very much.
My pleasure, and thank you, Kwabena, for doing this. And yes, I'll be back. We'll talk about the network and the regular slots and see how I can get you on board. And you guys, whilst I am able to nail him to do it, make sure you are there, imbibe him, because it will not last. It will not last long. He is busy. So if I'm able to nail
Okay, so I think there's a problem. There's a problem. So it's on Amazon. The books are on Amazon as well, Kindle. And if you go to any of our shops, Envy shop in any of the malls in Ghana, you can get them. So Accra Mall, Achimota Mall, West Mall, you can get copies of the book as well. One is 30 cedis, And if you want to give me a call to, my number is 024 66 31 874. You send me WhatsApp, we can get you the books as well. 024 66 31 874. We must all make ourselves available for us to change the game. We must, wherever we are. So thank you.
I'm back. Thank you, Kwabena. And thank you, everybody and juniors from school.
Yes.
You know